of 2022. It feels a little weird, it's a little bittersweet, but I know our hosts tonight have a lot of amazing content in store for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to your host for the night.
Alrighty, so we're gonna kick it off talking about competitive events and you. So I am your first host. My name is Claire Pommier. I am proud to be serving as the Region 1 Vice President, and I am from St. George Central High School.
My name is Mason Gay, and I'm your Region 2 Vice President. I'm from Owen Withee High School.
I'm Sydney Lecision, the state reporter, and I'm from Cameron High School.
Alrighty, so first and foremost, we're going to talk about objective tests and how those are kind of your first opportunity and your first option to showcase your FBLA knowledge. So there are a wide variety of objective tests. You can showcase Microsoft capabilities, highlight a wide array of business knowledge, and it is very important to note that there are categories for everybody. There are topics that range from ethics to healthcare, agribusiness, financial math, journalism, finance, and much more. For the complete list, if you go to FBLA-PBL.org, under divisions, click high school competitive events, and there should be a full list of the objective tests and their competencies. The one important thing to note about objective tests is that there are introductory and non-introductory events. Introductory objective tests are only available for 9th and 10th grade FBLA members. These are kind of your perfect introduction to competition. They might have a little easier level content, and they'll just be a great taste for our newer members. Now, these 9th and 10th graders are still able to compete in non-introductory competitive events because these are open to all members. They might be more difficult, but they are perfect to challenge any member, and there are a wide array of topics.
Next, we will be talking about presentation events, which is another great opportunity to showcase your FBLA knowledge. The basics of presentation events are that there are also introductory events like objective tests. You can do it in groups or solo for most events, so typically 1 to 3 people in a group. Presentation events are presentations of a project, speech, or interview, and you may use visual aids or technology to present. The testing setup is sort of like what is on the right here. Normally 5 minutes of setup time for technology and handing out papers. And then there's a 7-minute performance time with a 6-minute warning limit. And then there's question and answer at the end. What I do is I practice with my advisor and peers the real competition scenario. Some tips for presentation success. If you are in a team, figure out who is doing what as soon as possible. For example, digital animation has the task for this year in the blue, and then for this, you could have one person make the product, one could make the animation, and one could make the script. Another tip is to memorize transitions so you know when you're going to be speaking next. As an individual, it's a little different. You have to make sure you schedule time to practice so you don't get behind, and have your advisor and peers edit. Memorize key points in your slides, and a challenge is to script an outline, but not actually what you're going to say, so it's a little more fluid. Be confident in yourself and always be prepared to answer why you chose to do it as a solo event. Either if you're doing it in a team or as an individual, make sure you practice your presentation as much as you put into time for the actual information. What's the best way to start on your event? You can start by brainstorming ideas, sketching the design, and make sure you always apply it to your real life so that it's more interesting to work on. Also, you can start by researching the topic.
Alrighty, so in other types of events, we also have case study and production events. Case studies include objective tests and an interactive study. With a problem or scenario being introduced, you get a certain amount of time to research with the materials given, and you prepare for your presentation. Note cards are usually given, and it's important to practice a scenario. For the production, that is a two-part competitive event with the production and the objective. So it's important to study your topic using resources like books and articles, and to use previous knowledge like Microsoft Office, for instance, Excel.
Our third is how to be prepared for competitive events. Who doesn't want to do well in their event? Which event are you competing in? Depending on your event, your presentation for your event, preparations for your event may differ. For example, as a student who participates in a parliamentary procedure, our presentation criteria differs every time, so we have no idea what type of motion or subject we might discuss. So we need to know as many motions as possible prior to competition. We start practicing after Thanksgiving break in order to have it figured out by the time RLC begins. For other people in my chapter, they might not start preparing until like 2 weeks before RLC. So it really just depends on which event you're competing in. Some objective tests can be prepared for by taking quizzes in your free time to constantly work your mind on the subject. That's what we do. We meet twice a week and take quizzes and see how well we performed on them and study for questions that we got incorrect. Others may require you to create a presentation prior to the competition. So you and your team or as a solo competitor can prepare that anytime they want before competition. Where can you find resources to prepare for your event? All test resources for our competitive events can be found on the state website under the competitive events page. You may also want to look into reaching out to a friend or upperclassman who may have prior knowledge on the subject. Your advisor might also know someone with knowledge on the subject you may be testing on and can direct you to them for the information. When should you start practicing for your event? Personally, like I said earlier, I'll begin practicing for my event twice a week starting after Thanksgiving break, but for everyone it changes. For events like Community Service Project, you or your team may need to begin preparing for the event earlier than December. Other events like Business Calculations or Accounting 1 can be prepared for by knowledge you may learn in a class at school. Some events may not require as much preparation depending on your current knowledge or ability. Team events generally can take longer to prepare for, so it is best to get roles and tasks figured out as soon as possible.
Alrighty, so before we kind of continue into our Kahoots, we were kind of wondering what you guys have done in past years or what you guys are planning on doing to prepare for your competitive events this year. Feel free to just drop it in the chats.
You can also share out loud if you are fine with that. So Lucy says study nights, practice tests, and research. Yeah, I get together with my friends and do little FBLA study nights before events, and I think it's pretty fun. And Greta said, asking my advisor a million questions. I'm doing my first presentation event ever. That's cool. And Kennedy said Quizlets for test events. Awesome. Those are great ways to get prepared for your events for the year.
Alrighty, perfect. Thank you guys. Now we are going to move on to our Kahoots. I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute. Okay. Alrighty. The code should be popping up momentarily. So if you go to kahoot.it, or if you're on your phone, the Kahoot app, code 6728102. Okay. I think we should be good to start it here already. Very nice. There is no interpretive dance competitive events in FBLA, unfortunately. I really wish there was. Lovely. Nice job. So resources are anywhere. You can even say you're taking practice tests, Google, find Quizlets, Kahoots, that type of thing. Really use your resources. There's so many out there. Nice job. Very nice. So digital video production is an event, but it is not a objective test. Writing. Ooh, very nice. You guys got that one good. So if you're in 11th or 12th grade, unfortunately, you are not eligible to compete in Intro to FBLA or any intro level events. Ooh, very nice. 5 minutes. Yes. Ooh. Okay, last question. You guys got it. Ooh, very nice. We got a wide array here. I got my objective testers, got some presenters, producers. I love it. Alrighty, drum roll here. Nice job, Mia. And Jen, of course. Ooh, and a big round of applause to today's winner, Kennedy. And runner-up Rock and Elsa. Alrighty. Alrighty, that pretty much concludes our presentation here. So thank you guys for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to kind of stick around. We are more than willing to answer those and would love to help you out.